Welcome to Bare Matters Podcast, where combat sports, mindset, and real life lessons collide. Hosted by Derving and Nate, we dive into jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA, and the grind that shapes athletes inside and outside the mat. Every episode we bring stories, strategies, and raw conversations that fuel growth, resilience, and community. Stay tuned because it's more than a fight, it's a lifestyle. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This weekend wasn't just another NCAA wrestling tournament. This felt different. It felt like we were watching a shift happen in real time. You had dominance at the highest level. You had freshmen stepping in and not just competing, but winning national titles. And you had stories that honestly go way beyond wrestling. Stories about pressure, stories about resilience, and stories about what it really takes to keep showing up when everything is going against you. Because this weekend didn't just give us champions, it gave us perspective. So today, we're breaking it all down: the teams, the individual performances, the controversy, and the stories that might define this era of wrestling. But before we get into all of that, we gotta start with a team that continues to define the sports right now. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
Yeah, man. This weekend felt like a hangover from so much wrestling. It's like you feel like you're spoiled because watching, I think Thursday, Friday, and Saturday just wrestling. So that Sunday morning, you're like, dude, where's the wrestling? That's it. Yeah, do until next year. Yeah, like what the hell, man? Where's more? Need some more wrestling. But it was amazing to see. Uh, First thing was Penn State, man. Penn State is like at this point, it feels like it's repetitive to say it, but it has to be said that they are still the standard, and they're not just like the standard, but they're like separated from the rest of the field. They're, year after year, they show up in the NCAA championship. It's not about whether they're going to win; it's about how dominant it's going to be. And what makes it seem more expressive is that it's not just one or two guys; it's the whole system that they have. The past 3 years, they have, oh my god, they have broke the record for most points by a team. This is the fifth year in a row they have won nationals. The last three that I think is 172 points. 2 years ago, last year is 177, and they beat, I think it's 100-point difference between them and the second place, Nebraska. And now this year was 100, I think it's 181.5 points. It's crazy, ridiculous how they're able to just, it's not like if they're going to win, like how bad they're going to be, everybody. And the reporters, they keep asking, what is it going to take you to be like, dude, Penn State is at a different level right now that's hard to catch up. How are you going to beat them? Like, dude, they are like, are basically in their own league. So it feels like it's a wave. Like sometimes, when Dana heard that squad was dominating, like, dude, they're just doing so good. It's just like, will they be able to keep for that long? When the empire is going to fall, and just how you going to keep up? So Korean rises to the top, so you have to find a way to be able to catch up to them. It's hard to like go through the whole gauntlet, beat those teams, especially when there's so many variables with other teams. For example, conference. They're not just same conference. You only get to meet them in the national tournament. You don't compete them as a team, but just like individual guys. One guy here, another one, certain part of the bracket. So it's hard to catch up with them, their lineup that they have, because their depth is consistent. The system that produces elite wrestlers. They only lost one guy this year, Levi Haynes, 21-year-old. And the rest of the team is coming back next year.
Yeah, that's promising.
Yeah. How the fuck, like, how are they able to So how are you gonna beat him? Because they only lost one guy. Probably one of those guys that was this year champion. For example, Massenbrick. He has only lost one time, and then we can talk about it later. But he can go up to 174 if he wanted to, if he's been dominant. And Levi Haynes was 174, and he was a national champion his sophomore year at 157. And after that, he decided to jump 2 weight classes and became a champion there this year. Yeah, at this point, Penn State isn't just race education; they just set it. They'll build something that every other program is chasing. There was race education, and the performance as and they're hard to hard to keep up there. When it sounds like that, do you think it's the greatest dynasty in NCAA history for wrestling?
Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like it. You would be the better answer on that because, to be honest, I don't know the history that well.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think?
I can't remember how many they have won. Well, I think it's 14 titles they have won overall, but they have won in 2011. I think they won all of them except for like 2 or 3. I remember Iowa won in that one year, Ohio State won another year. I can't remember like another year somebody else won it, but they have been this covered year, so it doesn't count because they didn't wrestle that year.
Wow,
So 2011, they have what's that, 15 years now?
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's far longer than most streaks last.
yeah. And then they are dominant. They're I told you what that so 30-1 was the takedown ratio. That I told you about.
Yeah,
So like, how do you close that gap?
I don't know. I feel like we talk about it a lot, but do you know, it's got to be a combination of things, right? But is it like training program? Is it resources? I imagine if they're doing that well, then the college is willing to put some money into the program.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they have good recovery or better recovery tools than everybody else as well. I'm
They
curious.
might have that might be effective, but also they have world team members there that they practice with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not talking about world team members, the world champions, Olympians that are in there. I think it's something like 80% or most of the wrestlers for the US under 23, they were from Penn State, the Little Lion Wrestling Club. So if they're performing that high level internationally within the country nationally, might be something to do with it. Maybe they might be wrestling year round because people just wrestle during the season. Other people just wrestle year round. If you compete year round, getting better, that might have something to do with it.
I mean, that I'm sure has something to do with it, but
Hmm. And wrestling at a high level with people that are high level as well. It's a certain standard that if you're able to break the lineup as a starter, you have a chance of becoming national champion, which is nuts to be able to do that.
yes.
Have been that confident of a team.
Really, I mean, so are they recruiting well as well? I mean, obviously they must be to some extent, but
Yeah,
you
they're
say,
recruiting. Well, the head coach, he threw some shade at another team saying because they're recruiting. He said something about like we follow the rules and we're not like other teams in which we're not afraid when the wind blows. Other things that they're doing as far as recruiting wise, because he had 2 guys that were in his team that recruited to Oklahoma State. Alex Facundo and another wrestler as well. They're recruited. Sergio Vega was supposed to go to Cornell, but he usually commit for a team at your junior year. But he changed his mind whenever he decided to go to Oklahoma State. So some of the guys for the most part, they're 4-time state champions when they go in there as far as recruiting. And they might be doing it. Recruiting is not an issue for them. People come to them, but also their system that they're able to. They do a lot of flow wrestling, I think, too. So that helps a lot. Rather just doing one technique at a time to do a sequence. No, because wrestling is a grid sport. So repetitive. One move, repetitive. We're standing for this position. One guy does go for a takedown, another guy's defended, kind of thing. But it's only from that specific scenario, rather than go from this scenario. One guy's to do to finish for a pin, or the other goes for the pin. So literally, you have to go put a full sequence in there to be able to get to the pin. Because one thing from just for example, like a trap triangle. One guy escape, the other one keep the trap triangle. That's the game. So one get out, reset. But if you work on trap triangle, but the guy from trap triangle, he has to do a transition to something else other than the triangle, or finish the triangle, and the other guy has to escape out of there. You have to pass before you go for submission. Don't go for guard. You have to pass guard, and you have to change the difference. So makes you think for yourself rather than just telling you what to do. You have to think how to improve position and go for a finish.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would make you think in a more rounded way,
Mm-hmm.
less one-dimensional.
Yeah, more practical, you will say.
Right.
Because every match is just like, oh, this is going to come down to just this. Thinking that no, it's going to come to finish
Right.
somebody. You have to be able to finish. But yeah, they are hard to catch right now. Penn State as a team, they're hard to catch. But the Oklahoma State freshman takeover is interesting because Oklahoma State, they made a statement this weekend, and they didn't just do it with the veterans. They did it with the freshmen. They have 4 freshmen in the finals, 3 of them walking away with national champions. Just thinking about a second, that's the normal because traditional college wrestling is about development. You come in, you struggle, you adjust, and over time, you build into a contender. But now the timeline is shrinking. Those kids are just they're coming in ready physically, ready mentally, and ready to win. And that changes everything because now it's just not just about who develops best athletes over time. It's about who can bring athletes that are ready and lead from day one. Freshmen aren't surviving anymore. They're taking over this tournament show. And that's a trend moving forward. The sport is about to get more dangerous itself. And the youth movement is just showing up in numbers, and they show up with some of the most historic individual performances that I've seen in years. Like Sergio Vega was from Oklahoma State. He beat the returning 2-time national champion. Yeah, which is crazy. Um they're able to to do that well as a freshman.
Yeah. I wonder what the change is there. Because that seems to
Or
be happening a lot. Why are the younger people coming up and excelling so much now? Was there a step change, or I don't know, like some high school programs are improving? I don't know.
some breast pro that are, for example, Pennsylvania, they have a good wrestling, but Sergio teams from California or Arizona. No, it's from Arizona, I think. But they are more exposed to matches. They're able to compete in the country, and someone able to compete international in the case of Jack Forrest. So more exposure to bigger pool competition, and their I also want to talk about this was at the beginning, you're always trying to chase wins because you're losing so much. But then as you get better, you start winning. So you start going the opposite way, start chasing losses. Which when you are that good, it seems that that's what they're doing, chasing losses. And that's how they get better at the sport. Chasing those losses. And the way you chase the losses bigger pool competition because you go to your own school, you beat everybody in your mat room. Then you go to a different somebody like in the state, you beat everybody in the state, beat everybody in the national level. There's other kids in another country that from Dagestan is ready to kick your ass. So there's challenges you wanna show up for and be able to see what you made of. I think that's why I can chalk it off to. I don't know, but that might be a reason why the sport is more exposed, so kids are gravitate more towards that for exposure now.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense. More kids going, obviously you're going to reach more natural talent that way. Yeah. And the more that come in, the more money is going to go into it as well,
Mhm.
even on the high school level. So, yeah, that would make sense that, programs would be developing and, yeah. That's interesting. Kind of a snowball effect in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, you have more promotions now too. For example, you have the RAF, you have the other one is I can't remember it's called, it's Claw. I think it's the I can't remember what it stands for, but it's the League of American Wrestling. They do their own kind of scoring system. They, which is good because you'll be able to get them competing and be able to get more matches and get them at least freaking some money in their pocket because traveling doesn't get any cheaper. For nationals, I think I think it's this weekend. Nationals for high school, the average I think is like $1,000, and that's for high school because you have gas, you have hotel, food. The parents have to pay tickets to go into the venue for each session, so it start adding up. So the average, let's say, is $1,000 for that jumping for a weekend. How many people have $1,000 to spare just for the kids to compete?
Right? Yeah, that's rough.
So, but if you're able to get some tournaments or events, you have to get some events like those, other than just in season matches, and give some money for it, that would be great because you want to get some people and develop more as a team. But this weekend, as far as the individual legacy moments, one of the guys, it is like it is part of the Penn State. Feels like he's the engine of the team for Penn State. He loves wrestling and he just wants to go there and just scrap. One of those guys. He's in love. In high school, his wrestling coach was this guy by the name of Ben Askren. He was club coach. He Haas Trophy winner. I think his dad was his wrestling coach for high school, and then went to college and wrestled for Cal Sanderson, another wrestling great. Headmaster Brick, and he loves scrapping. He only lost one time in his college career, was nationals finals his freshman year. It was just to take technicality. He saw that the score was even. He didn't think about the riding time, and that's why he lost the match. Um, it's one of those, he has a pace too that he puts on you. He pace, and he always finds a way to score, find a way to score, find a way to score. So something you would like to see, but just dominance for the first match. For the first match to the finals, he looked like the guy who was completely different level. He controlled pace, confidence. The only match that he was able to major or get a major score, I think, was the semifinals in nationals. There's the Hodge Trophy, in which you give to the most valuable uh, wrestler in the season. Cal Sanders is not a big fan of the Hodge Trophy. He believed that some of his guys should have won it, but they didn't win it because some of the votes had to be split within his own teammate. I mean, you had two four-time national champions in the same team. Those votes had to be split somehow. Wherever, like, while those votes are getting split, another guy from a different team is getting more points than those two being split right there. That's why Cal Sanderson is not a big fan of the Hodge Trophy. Also, he kind of makes sense why he's salty about it because some of the votes that are given, for example, the Big Ten happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was kind of sketchy the way they scored it because they gave him the Ben Davino, he's freshman of the year, Jesse Mendez, wrestler of the year for Ohio State, and the coach of the year was Ohio State's Tom Ryan, which all three of them were Ohio State. But meanwhile, Penn State has been running the scoreboard in every other way.
Yeah. That is strange.
Yeah. Penn State has been scoring everybody 30-1. Metro Western has lost since his freshman year and still outscoring everybody in. And then he was like, yeah, he doesn't care about those type of accolades. That's the opinion of
Yeah.
people giving votes.
Yeah.
National times comes, he will be able to win. Which I forgot to mention that it is makes sense that he have confidence in his team being able to perform. He decided to sit out national duels. Remember it happened back in November? State won that national duels. But when it comes to national title this past weekend, Ohio State placed fifth in national tournament.
Hmm.
So makes you wonder who's the real national champion.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Yeah, that's
Because the thing was, Penn State was first, Oklahoma State second, Nebraska third, Iowa fourth, and Ohio State, which was a surprise thing. Iowa was fourth place. They were to get 7 guys All American, despite they were having some struggle as a team. They have a lot of the first time I think they lost to Minnesota, first time they lost to Iowa State in like 20 years or so
dang.
in duels. So it was a rough year for them. And even through all that, they were to get placed fourth in national. To be honest, I think they were going to place top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned that around then.
Yeah, they were able to scrap in there, be able to get some guys going into nationals. But in my humble opinion, I think Mitchell Messenbrick should get the Haas Trophy due to his dominance of beating all those guys, and even in the finals against Mikey Caliendo. Mikey Caliendo, he's pretty good. Mike Caliendo has a record 0-8. He's lost 8 times against Mitchell Messenbrick. And then he lost again, and he did some sort of he did a heading arm. That's illegal in wrestling. Heading arm, triangle. Bishop Messenbrick trying to pin him. You're not supposed to lock your hands whenever you're on top,
Okay.
but he was doing that, and he just pissed Bishop Messenbrick up, and he just tech followed him.
Dang.
You just poking the bear at that point.
Right.
Okay, now you pissed me off. And he was doing a butt drag, trying to like doing the old check when he was trying to prevent a tech fall on Mitchell Messenbrick. He
My
got
God.
pissed off. Everyone like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you now. I'm gonna just destroy you." And he did just that, just tech fall him in the finals. Made it for interesting afterwards because after the match, the rounds are over, they get all 8 of them, all the Americans, put them in the podium and take a picture. They hand out the medals.
Mm.
Well, Mr. Messenger was checking everybody's hand during that part, but Caliendo didn't even look at Mr. Messenger. He was looking forward. He's like,
I saw that. That's crazy.
he was a little bit salty about the situation.
A little.
Would you be mad you lost to somebody 9 times in a row?
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, at that point, I feel like they've displayed an adequate amount of dominance. I just got to give it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and also it should be also to a certain extent it should be my fault too if I haven't made any adjustment for
Well, exactly. Yeah, I'd
that
be
match
mad
in
at
a row.
myself, but not him.
Yeah, because it's not his well, it is his fault that you lost. But also you should be able to some certain adjustment to be able to
Yeah.
at least close the gap a little instead of getting tech fall.
Yeah. Yeah. No, really, in my opinion, there's no right to be salty about that at that point.
No. It is a sport.
Yeah.
It is a sport. One thing that made it also there's an interview, Mission Mr. One thing that we talked about before was that he talked about the journey is the reward. Don't focus about some of these things that don't put value into that you win the national title. It's gonna be great and your life is gonna change forever. No, it's just another thing that you have to accumulate. It's gonna be collecting dust after you get older, but just the journey itself, enjoy. That should be the reward because it'll
Mhm.
be over before you know it. And just enjoy the process, and it'll be really rewarding as you go through it. Then after that, another guy I wanted to bring on was Naila Valencia. He went against Shane Van Ness, which is a number 1 seed from Penn State. Naila Valencia is a freshman. Interesting enough, I don't think he won a state title in high school. Yet he won nationals his freshman year in college.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Got that special juice.
Yeah, he does. He loved. I heard that he loved wrestling. Allegedly, he had a air mattress next to the wrestling mat for because he that's how much he enjoyed wrestling. But this one is just bigger than just a match. This is a legacy. This is a family. It was his sister. I think I don't know if I pronounce her name right. Like Nyla. Naila Valencia. She was a redshirt junior wrestler for Iowa. She finished 5th in the inaugural national championship, but she recently had to retire because she had her 3rd ACL tear. Yeah. So she's retiring now. She had 1 more year left, but she's retiring. He Aiden told his sister that they will have a national champion in the family. And he did just that. He carried the weight of the family in expectation, and he delivered. He wasn't just a win, that was like a moment that's going to live with him forever, beating Shane Vaness in national. And which will make it interesting because Shane is coming next year. They'll face each other again. Unless one of them goes up, but it is admiring to see somebody like that to be able to um go out there as a freshman, didn't win a title, state title. I can't remember where they come out of California because that will make a difference. Because California is weird when it comes to their high school.
Okay.
Uh, they came from California, Morgan Hill, California. If I get it correctly, you have 1A here in last year, but the one before that one. In North Carolina, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4As. Now they have 8As for the classification of schools. In California, you put all of them together and you have one champion or state title. And you know how fucking big California is.
Right. That's crazy.
So I can understand if he wasn't a state champion
Yeah.
in California.
That's ridiculous.
That's a national championship, right? Literally.
Right. Let's see. Population. Yeah. 39.5 million people in California. It's the whole state competing against. How long do those tournaments go then?
Forever. It feels like.
Yeah.
Because they do
That's insane.
sectional. Yeah. Because they have to do sectionals to a certain extent to weigh down
I'm sure.
to get all of them to get the nationals. I mean, the state champion there. 39 million, you said? That's like what? More than 10% of the US population. I think US population like 300 million people.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's 342 million.
Yeah. So roughly 10% of the US
10%.
population.
Dang.
That's a gauntlet.
That really is.
You have him, his sister wrestle too.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was admiring to see him winning up for his sister was crying whenever he won it. Because it came down to one call. It was in overtime. And trying to determine whether it would take down or not. And he got it. They were like, her like confirmed takedown. Everybody started screaming. Because he was going against the number one seed, she Vanessa. Would she be? Another freshman that was interesting was Landon Robideau. I don't know if I pronounced his last name right. Robideau. Robideau. For Oklahoma State, he beat the number one seed PJ Duke in the semifinals, and the returning national champion Antrell Taylor in the finals. Taylor beat him early on the season and put in the mat saying, "This is my mat" to Robideau during one of their duels.
Dang.
Guess what Robidoux did when he won his? He returned the favor of the quote to Taylor. This is my man in the final of the nationals.
Ooh, dang.
You can see whenever Taylor took his ankle bands, he threw it at Robidoux chest. Whenever, and then one thing that was interesting that Robidoux did, I think he was fifth or eighth seed in the tournament, and he showed that ranking are for the fans. Basically, you have to be confident in your abilities, and amazing things can happen because he was able. He didn't care what they were ranking him seated. Like that's just for betting us because everybody can beat anybody in any given day in there. Even him as a freshman, able to beat that return national champion, beat PJ Duke. We push PJ Duke lost a close match against Andrew Taylor during the duel in the Big Ten. PJ Duke beat Andrew Taylor, and he had a really dominant Big Ten championship. Can't remember he should have gotten probably the most attended wrestler of the tournament in the Big Ten. Yeah, PJ Duke looked pretty good. Coming out of the Big Ten, and he ran into Robidoux. Robidoux be able to beat him. Well, watch that. Okay, let me back up. In the semifinals, there was a controversial takedown that wasn't given to PJ Duke. He had Robidoux in what he call a cradle. Roberto was able to rock back to his knee because in wrestling they have what they call a reaction time. They give him reaction time for a position. You give him like a reaction time because you can get caught like for 1 second, like does it really count for a
Got
position? Kind of like
hmm
takedown in jiu-jitsu. You
Yeah.
put someone in their back, but if you have a dominant, be able to pull guard and be able to sweep you, does it count as a takedown or not? Kind of like that. They do that in wrestling. A lot of people are saying, well, that should count it as a takedown, but they didn't count it because he just has a lock in the cradle. And a lot of people are like, oh, look. They put a picture of Rabido being on his back, but that was just a frame of a second.
Okay. Yeah.
So it doesn't really count. You have to have a usually you have to have a 5 second count. You
Wow.
put back points and then you to finally collect pin. But if you didn't hold it for that long and he was able to rock to his knees, probably shouldn't even count. The guy can have his hands locked all he wanted to, but he's not getting behind to secure the takedown or get the back points or for the pin. It shouldn't be awarded.
5 seconds is a long time. So yeah, if it was just a short, I mean that's pretty easy to see that that's not
Yeah, it's one picture. You can see a
right.
lot of things from just one picture. Like, oh yeah, look here. Like, oh, you just look at the sequence, and you tell me what you see out of the sequence.
hmm
And you want also I think you want to see the sequence real time because a lot of people see like slow motion. It's like, oh look, like, let's start counting. Like, dude, that's in slow motion. You have to remember that.
Yes.
Well, the thing that you see is
These
in slow
guys
motion.
are moving.
Yeah, and you have to do it based off the point of view of the referee. They're seeing it real time. They base it off slow motion. Yeah, Robert Do, which a lot of people say that he in the team for Oklahoma State, they think that he is the captain of the freshman team because he's so there. He got his shit together. Some may say he like Jack Forrest. I think there's a video of him. Robert Do is the heart of the freshman because Jack Forrest, he like the year like the clean room like that he came back one day and freaking Robido had cleaned his room, put his clothes up and shit like what the fuck? That's how good of a teammate he is. He like does it like, for other people, make him look good. For like interviews and stuff like that. And then another freshman, then comes Sergio Vega. One of his quotes, what I would think was, he said was, "It doesn't matter what other people think of your odds. It only matters what you think." And he did just that. He probably is the craziest stat in the entire tournament. He was undefeated freshman. He's the first one to do this since 1947. Not only that, he beat the two-time returning national champion Jesse Mendez, and not just an upset, just changing the guard at this moment because Jesse Mendez was a senior. That is nuts. Becoming undefeated, he beat a lot of hammers there. Brock Hardy in the semifinals, beat him. Uh, he pinned a lot of guys along the way too. They pinned Brock Hardy in national duels as well. It is um, it is interesting. So now this is the kid that I think he committed to Cornell, and then he decided to change his mind when he saw that David Taylor was going to be the coach for Oklahoma State and go to Oklahoma State and wrestling there. But he always questioned himself, why shouldn't beat somebody he was going against? He couldn't find an excuse why he shouldn't be able to beat him. He did just that. Went out there and beat him, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's quite a mentality.
Yeah, and there's such crazy stats. I think he didn't give up a single takedown either, going to the finals as a freshman. How crazy is that? This is 1947. And then the second undefeated Jack Forrest, freshman. It really doesn't make sense. He's a national champion. 2 months ago, he was starting his college career. 2 months undefeated, down the first performance all the way through. He didn't just climb the ladder, he skipped it. And then when you look at the performance like this, it's clear that something is changing in the sport. But as incredible as this moment where the most powerful story from this tournament wasn't just about winning. It was, I don't know how he's able to do that. Well, he was being in the world team, he made the world team as a senior. He um he beat world champions, all Americans. He beat national champions as a high school kid, and then he come into college. He decided to forego his state championship and wrestle in college. and win nationals. Kind of confidence you have to have
Yeah, that's
because
oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just
you have to have some sort of confidence because if you get it wrong, you burn a whole year eligibility in 2 months in
yeah,
college.
yeah,
But you get it right, boy. I heard somebody said that he is the poster boy for Oklahoma State at this moment, kind of like David Taylor, the current coach for Oklahoma State, was the poster boy for Penn State when Kel Sanderson began his reign at Penn State. Jack Forrest dominant in high school, dominant in becoming the world team member. I think he placed second in worlds. Wait, I think when he's younger. In going to college and beating everybody, going from nobody to number one seed into nationals, and then winning nationals in 2 months. How scary is that?
yeah. Really, it's. I guess he must. I don't know. He's got to be an all or nothing kind of person. I guess.
Hey, it's a cowboy mentality. The Oklahoma State Cowboys. It has to be that cowboy mentality. Just like Serrano,
Yeah. Right.
it has to be all in, man. And this one we're going to have to slow down for a second because next door is bigger than just wrestling. Gabe Arnold. Not long ago, he was completely different place. He was hospitalized in the mental health unit back in December 2024. Then in the summer of 2025, he's dropped from the team. He has some mental health that he's had to struggle with. You see a lot of athletes they have that happen. The physical part is just kind of like a byproduct of the mental health that they have with. Ivano wasn't in a good place and he had to get some help. I mean, he plays in the health unit during the holidays of that year. And think about that. Imagine that identity crisis when like things get taken away because sometimes you use that as your not so much as your crutch, but something that you can rely on when you're mentally unstable. Just going through the motion of a routine that helps you kind of balance you out. But he was in the summer of 2025. He was dropped from the team. So you just think about that. Just go from competing at the highest level to having everything taken away from you, like your routine, your identity. Because a lot of people you just identify of what you actually do, the purpose that he had being in the team. And for a lot of people, that's where the story ends. But not for him. He kept showing up, and that's why he said he just kept showing up after his interview when he became All American this season. He battled through weight classes, lost his starting position at 174 to Patrick Kennedy, which is senior for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He moves up, loses a spot to the poster boy for the team at 184, Angelo Ferrari. Then he moves all the way up to 197 after the Iowa wrestling program dropped Osama Ndene, which was a NIL guy. He was Division Three national champion. During the middle of the season, they drop him, and they needed somebody at 197. Keep Arnold decided to go in there and trying to take the spot for 197. Like there's no guarantees, no security. Just showing up and somehow, some way, he fight his way back, and he becomes an All American. I showed you the picture yesterday about what are the chances of being a high school wrestler and being a D1 wrestling All American. It's 1 out of 2,898. It's like 0.034% chance of that happening. And he was able to make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Those statistics you sent were very interesting
Hmm.
in relation to like how difficult it is to become, to win at the high levels in wrestling.
Yeah, especially the All American because going to the tournament just that weekend starts on Thursday. You have 330 wrestlers, and only 80 of them are going to be All American. It's only going to be 10 champions
Yeah.
out of those 330. Only one of them is going to have a flawless bracket. The rest of them is going to be a gauntlet. That's why the Saturday morning in the Browns for blow round, those are make it really interesting, which really finds out who's the who in the wrestling world. For example, Gabe Arnold last year, he was one match away from becoming All American. One match maybe. Yeah, and then this year he struggled. I mean, that was I think 184 last year. We almost became All American, but he was able to find the resilience and make it happen. You don't quit on yourself. He's like, man, sometimes you just have to shut the fuck up and do the work. That's what he said. That's all that's simple. And then in his case, even when everything around falls apart, honestly, that might be the realest story in this entire tournament for him. He will see when he wasn't mentally right at the moment. He was able to get the help, and then after he kind of got things figured out, he get dropped from the team. Everything trying to find him because they have a spot for him. They already have 174. They have Patrick Kennedy. 184. They have Angelo Ferrari. They have Masoma Ndene at 197. They have a spot for him. He's trying to get his earning the respect back again. Be able to back in the team, which is admirable to see for a college athlete be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you don't
that's a
see that
lot
a
to
lot of.
overcome.
What's that?
That's a lot to overcome.
And you don't see a lot in today's society. You don't see that a lot. Find the resilience of somebody for a sport that's not as lucrative. Some may say.
Yes.
And then another one, redemption wise story was Max McHillney. This another kind of resilience. Max McHillney, came into the season ranked as the number one guy in the country, which is high expectation. Coming in at 184, that's literally pressure from day one. But the season doesn't usually for him didn't go perfectly. He had a lot of adversity. He lost in national duels. I can't remember who he lost to. Then he took some ball along the way, losing national duels. Like I said, he lost against Rocco Welch in the Big Ten championship. I also think he lost against him in the duel when they went against each other. And then also he was the same guy that he went against in national final. And like a lot of guys fall off, but he just adjusted and stayed on the course. And when it mattered the most, he got it done. He became a national champion. Like that example that we said about, I don't want to talk too much trash about Caliendo. He lost 9 times in a row against that guy. McAnally was lost against twice against Rocco Welsh this season. He was able to make adjustment to be able to win and become a champion, despite he didn't have a perfect season. And he was able to figure out when things start going his way. And those are the things that you want to see people do, athletes. Be able to make adjustments. Yeah, you're able to make adjustments too. You keep having the same bumps, same challenges. And you like coming back, like you have to make adjustment.
Right. I mean, that's a true sign of an elite athlete would be the ability to adapt and adjust to whatever comes. I mean, unfortunately, not all adversity comes from the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be able to adapt and come back despite, mentally devastating events. Yeah, that's really something.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Also bringing up the another aspect of the tournament was the Ferrari brothers. The Ferrari brothers, they are like high level when it comes to recruiting. AJ won national his freshman year, Oklahoma State. A couple of bumps along his career. He was placed third last year. Um, with California school. I can't remember the name right now. Oh, and then he have Angelo Ferrari, and they have some challenges. AJ Ferrari, he had some turf toe issue early in the season. He had to change his shoes, which I found it weird that he changed. Usually, when you have a team that has a certain sponsor, in the case of Nebraska, they use Adidas. So the rest of the shoes that they use is Adidas. I saw Ferrari. He was wearing Nike shoes, but he put Italian flag red, white, and green as the stripes to make it look like they were Adidas, but they were Nike shoes, which will make it weird. I'm not. I can't remember if because Adidas has some narrow shoes. Maybe that's the reason why he was able to wear them. But he will start wearing Nike Freaks. But you can still see the bottom of the sole, see the swoosh of Nike.
Yeah.
That's Nike shoe. Well, he seemed that he was having some trouble with turf toe and other things. And his brother Angelo, in the middle of the season, they just pull him from the team. Despite he was number one guy, he beat a lot of guys early in the season, though he lost against Rocco Welch in the Penn State duel. And after that, they didn't wrestle him. You see, he suffered some injuries. And then when he showed up at the national tournament, he was taped up like a mummy on both his shoulders. Yeah. He was able to be I can't remember Sinclair. That's why he beat Sinclair in the no, in the quarterfinals of the tournament, which higher ranking than Angelo Ferrari. He was celebrating like three, like that's like in overtime. But then he lost in the semis, as well as AJ Ferrari lost in the semis. After that, they decided to medically forfeit out of the tournament. They were done. They didn't want to wrestle back for third place. I didn't hear much about Angelo through his afterwards after his match. As for he has some choice of words about when he lost his match. He was saying that some of the guys that were HGAs or some of they're younger, they have no acne, they have no back acne. So accusation that he said about allegedly he was saying about the guy that he lost to because he got ragdoll. Let's take in consideration that you took 4 months to go from 187 to heavyweight, while the other guy did some years to get to heavyweight. So it takes years to be able to get that big. You can just do over months, and you got ragdolled by somebody that has heavyweight, and he's Cuban wrestler, different kind of wrestling. They don't recreational wrestle; they wrestle for a lifestyle. So you have to mind your p's and q's.
That's pretty steep allegations for.
Yeah, but then I think today he released a video saying apologies for that. He didn't mean to say that he's respecting younger Batista, and that he tried to say that about him, and he was just joking allegedly. And Batista, he responded like, "Hey, man, you can just get RAF to sign us a contract. We can go against each other. Really, I appreciate your apology, but we can settle it in a match. Just have RAF send the contract, and we can settle the score. See who really AGA." Because he's asking for the NCAA to do some off-season testing for some of these wrestlers, see what they're really on. Not everybody that you lose to is on steroids, sir. Sometimes somebody get a better guy than you.
Hard as it is to believe,
Yeah.
not everybody has to cheat.
Well, meanwhile, he's doing some of the supplements too. I don't know how he passes. Um, I'm pretty sure that he's going to get on peptides during the offseason, trying to get some recovery in. Uh, quote unquote recovery. With some Mexican supplements. But yeah, how do you feel about that medical forfeit out of a tournament? Because in the case of Angelo Ferrari, Gabe Arnold didn't wrestle 184 because Angelo Ferrari was there. And now he just medical forfeit out of tournament for sixth place in the tournament. He didn't even try to wrestle back. Third place.
That is pretty strange. Yeah, especially if he took somebody else's spot. Yeah, I wouldn't say that would create a cordial relationship between them.
Especially both brothers in two different teams that had to medical forfeit after they lost in the semis. Remind me of the kid that the parents pull out of whenever they were losing the semis, parents just pull them out of there. Okay, let's go home because you didn't win finals. Like in the jiu-jitsu tournament, let's go home. That's it. Like, didn't even try to wrestle back for another spot. That's what it felt like.
It's really hard to say. I don't know anything about him, but it does feel like an attitude problem almost, like not appreciating opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Especially being the high level.
Right, exactly.
But it kind of like leave a bad taste. But if they're seriously injured, they
True.
know that they were going to be injured the whole tournament. You're gonna be injured the whole tournament. So whether you win the whole thing or you have to wrestle back, you committed to the whole tournament, not just the winning bracket, the
True.
consolation bracket as well.
Yeah, that's valid. That's definitely a valid point.
Because you know you were injured. Just because you didn't win the gold medal doesn't mean that you want to finish the tournament. Have some respect. It's not just your teammates, but also fans too. That they came in there to watch you wrestle. For them being poster boys of oh shit, my life just lost. But yeah, it feels like it is kind of like leave bad taste to some of the fans. We came to watch them, because they came to see them compete and decided just to not go on after they took a leg of being able to compete. What's the name? Hayden Halley. He recently got hired for the assistant coach for NC State. He always, he during one interview, he mentioned that he considered the the consolation bracket wasteland tournament because after you lose the semis, you still have to win two more matches to place third. So after you can have one more match and win finals and become a champion, or you lose semifinals, you have to go in the semifinal constellations. You have to win that one and then win another one to be able to be. Some people call it the loser's champion, but it takes a little bit more grit to come back after losing. Because that's what life is. Sometimes you just things don't go as you plan, and your first goal doesn't plan out as you want it to be. You have to adjust and be able to adjust and be able to win in a different way and just pivot to a different goal too. Because life is not gonna go as you want it sometimes.
Most definitely. Yeah, I just, especially, I don't know. Yeah, it really is just irresponsible, not very tasteful, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. It's just not, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else for tonight. For this episode, all the news you want to oh, I forgot about John Jones. Me, that's his name. Me Jones, that's his nickname now. Oh shit, there goes my Guinness. Shit. So you gonna talk
No,
about John Jones. I Guinness gets spilled every time you talk bad about John Jones. But he's announced that he's going to be in bare-knuckle March 28th. Is the day that he gave up for fighting in bare-knuckle. Do you think he's just kind of like tantrum that he's throwing at the UFC?
it seems like it. Yeah, it seems like it.
Because I don't think that the bare-knuckle is giving him the 30 million that he asked from the UFC.
Right? I don't think so. I am curious if he's running low on money and that maybe I mean, so there's a few things. I think they're gonna feed him people, so he's gonna
Hmm.
keep his reputation as he thinks it is. He'll make some money, so at least it's something. And yeah, I think it's the UFC temperature that he's right now. Yeah, it's crazy though. It really seems like such a step down,
Yeah,
you know.
going to the street beef of sports. Yeah, that's an interesting point that you said about is it money because he's been doing a lot of those Russian shows for like the ultimate fighter version of the Russian, bringing in DC. It is interesting because I wonder how much they're paying there, and also DC was going to leave out of that. I forgot to mention that DC was going to leave that show because one of the guys, when they got into altercation, one of them pulled a knife. He's like, "Dude, somebody's gonna get hurt. I'm going home. I'm done here." And John Jones begged DC to stay there. Like, dude, we need you here. So I wonder how much is John Jones getting paid
Yeah,
for that show, and how much money he's hurting for money.
yeah. Well, that means he probably is getting a lot from that.
Yeah, because this is the second season. Because remember, the first one was with Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz left.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those nose beers cost money. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it gets really expensive. Expensive buys. Yeah, I seen him too recently. He was driving a Cybertruck, but he had his phone right directly in front of his line of view. They usually have it right here or here on
right?
driving. He's driving a Cybertruck, given his Cybertruck, but who puts the phone right there in front of him while driving?
Huh. He must be taking advantage of the self-driving feature.
Yeah, they a lot safer than him driving himself.
Dang, they got a solution for him.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that Tesla. Where'd you go? Elon Musk, give this fucking guy a Cybertruck, baby, because the kid can afford
Yeah,
this guy to get
please.
another fucking ring. Yeah, like that's the safest way for him to even when phone in front of his
That's
face.
true. Yeah. Let him play his Candy Crush while the Cybertruck gets him around.
Yeah, he could do a couple of lines while driving on the steering wheel. Make sure there's tinted windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything else for tonight. You gonna close out?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Give us a listen on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, iTunes. Yeah. Give us a follow on Instagram. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. See you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mad Matters podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube so you never miss an episode. Drop us a review, share with your training partners, and keep rolling on and off the mat. Until next time, keep fighting, keep learning, keep growing.